So today we shall discuss the problem on root locus, stating draw the root locus plot using guidelines for the open loop transfer function that is given by g of s h of s is equal to k into s plus 2 s into s square 2s plus 2. Discuss the stability criteria of the system as a function of k. Okay, let me check whether I have presented. Yes, okay, everything is fine. Okay, so this is the given problem. For this we need to draw the root locus plot. Okay, so always the first step in root locus, in order to check the number of poles and number of zeros, followed with the condition, either whether it is a case 1 or case 2. Case 1 is p greater than z, case 2 z greater than p. So let us check step 1. Okay, we should identify the number of poles followed with number of zeros. If the condition is p greater than z, number of branches will equal to poles. So in the given problem, I want answers from you because this is the topic that is selected by you. How many number of poles are here? Shraddha, can you answer me? How many number of poles are here?
One.
One. Okay. Any other answer? Any other answers? See, what is open loop poles? Let me tell you, very simple. So the roots, okay, that we are obtaining in the denominator we call it as open loop poles, and the roots that we are obtaining in the numerator we call it as open loop zero. Now Shraddha, tell me how many roots are there in the denominator?
Two.
It's not 2, because if I substitute this particular equation, okay, you just check the highest degree. If I multiply s cube 2s square 2s, so s cube meaning I will be having 3 roots. Okay, if I solve this particular equation I will be having 3 roots. If I solve this particular numerator I will be having 1 root, meaning open loop poles are number of open loop poles, that is 3. Okay, followed with open loop 0, that is 1. Very simple. If I consider the equation s into s square 2s plus 2, if I subject to 0 I will get 1 root as s is equal to 0, and s square 2s plus 2. If I solve this particular equation I will be getting the roots as minus 1 plus or minus j. Okay, so total I will be having 3 roots, 0 as a 1 root followed with minus 1 plus or minus j, so total 3 roots. Okay, similar way if I substitute the numerator s plus 2, that is equal to 0, I will be getting a root as minus 2, 1 root, that is 0. So what is the case? 3 is greater than 1, so p is greater than 1, so number of branches will be, that is number of open loop poles, that is 3. 3 will be the number of open loop poles. Okay, now one more thing we need to identify, how many branches will tends to infinity. So the formula is p minus z branch will tends to infinity. P is 3, z is 1, so we are getting 2. So total 2 branches will tends to infinity. So let me complete. 2 branches will tends to infinity. Okay, so that is step 1. So by identifying number of poles and 0, we will come to a conclusion, that is case 1, that is p greater than z, and we shall check how many number of branches will tends to infinity. So we get some clear picture what will happen after drawing the root locus. Okay, so step 1 is done, followed with step 2. Okay, so step 2 is about section of real axis. We need to plot the section of real axis. Very simple. Take the S plane and mark the number of poles and 0. So number of poles we have, that is 1 is at 0, so pole will be represented with this symbol, and 2 more at -1. Okay, -1. So let me mark this as 1j followed with 2j, and the bottom, that is -1j followed with -2j. So this particular axis we call it as imaginary axis. Okay, that is j omega is an imaginary axis. So we have 1, 2, 3 poles, that is done, and we have one more 0, that is at -2. Okay, -1, -2, 0 will be represented with this particular symbol. Okay, so we have identified the number of poles and 0 in S plane. Let us check where exactly we have root locus region and no root locus region. Okay, if I place a point here and if I count towards my right side, and if it is having number of count of zeros and pole, if it is even, then we call it as no root locus region, and if it is odd, we call it as root locus region. So here there is, if I place a point here towards right side, I don't have any poles and zeros, so this particular region will be NRL. And next I am placing in between a pole and 0. If I place a point here, so we need to count. Okay, so let me place a point. I will take a thicker one. So if I place a point towards this red point right side, see, need not to consider the complex pole. Okay, you just don't consider, we have to consider either pole or 0 which has to be in real axis. So if I count the number of poles and 0, see, while counting you need to consider both poles and 0. Here I have only one pole towards the right side. I have only one pole. The count is odd, meaning from 0 to -2 it is root locus region, from 0 to -2. And let me place one more point here, and towards the right side of that point, so this will be the right side, if I count both poles and 0, the count will be 2. So 1, 0, 1 pole, 1 plus 1, that is count is even. This particular is no root locus region. So only root locus exists in between 0 and -2. So that is clear with the step 2. Okay, so let us move on to the next step, that is step number 3. Step number 3, to identify, okay, angle of asymptotes. Angle of asymptotes. Okay, in order to identify the angle of asymptotes, we have a formula. Theta is equal to 2q plus 1 multiplied by 180 degree whole divided by p minus z. Okay, so where q will be 0, 1, 2, p minus z minus 1. So if I substitute this p minus z minus 1, p is 3, z is 1 minus 1, so I will be getting 2, meaning I should substitute q as 0 and identify the value of theta 1. Okay, and I need to substitute q as 1, identify the value of theta 2, substitute q as 2, identify the value of theta 3, and we will stop here because our final term is 2. If you get 3, you need to stop to the next position, that is 3. So when I substitute 0, theta 1 will be, I will be getting it as, oh sorry, if it is 2, you need to count the number of values, that is 1 and 2. Okay, do not consider till 2. Let me change that. Okay, very simple. We shall consider till the number. So total number of q is 2, that is 1 and 2. So we need to substitute q as 0 and identify. So I will be getting 90 degree, that is 2 into 0, 0, 0 plus 1 is 1, 1 into 180 degree, 180 degree by p minus z, that is p minus z is 2, 180 by 2, that will be 90 degree. Followed with, I will be getting, when I substitute q as 1, I will be getting 180 into 2 by 2, so 180 degree. Okay, these are the two angles. See, substitution will be, if I get p minus z minus 1 as 3. See, now I have get it as 2. If I get it as 3, then I will substitute 0, 1, 2. So if you should count, total is 3. Okay. After doing step 3, step 4 is identification of centroid. Step 4, so should check centroid. So the formula is summation of real part of poles minus summation of real part of zeros whole divided by p minus z. Okay, so here if I consider summation of real part of poles and real part of zeros, so the roots are, if you check, we have 0, it is a real, and followed with minus 1. S square plus 2s plus 2, the roots are minus 1 plus or minus j. So we have minus 1, minus 1. When I consider the pole, I am having the root as 0 followed with minus 1, minus 1. Okay, and I have one more 0 in the numerator. Also I am having a real root, that is s plus 2, that is substituted as minus 2. So that particular root minus of minus 2 whole divided by p minus z, that will be 2. I am getting it as minus 2 plus 2, that will be 0. So the centroid will be at origin. And step 5, to identify the breakaway point. Breakaway point. Okay, so following are the conditions to check to the breakaway point. So first we need to consider a characteristic equation, that is 1 plus g of s h of s, that is equal to 0. I need to substitute g of s h of s as 1 plus given problem, that is k into s plus 2 by s into s square plus 2s plus 2, that is equal to 0. After cross multiplying, I will be getting it as s cube plus 2s square plus 2s followed with k, I will take common, s plus 2. Okay, that is equal to 0. And the next step in breakaway point is separation of k term and s term. This will be k is equal to minus s cube minus 2s square minus 2s whole divided by s plus 2. And the final step is differentiating k with respect to s. Here we need to form the u by v rule, and after differentiating, and we need to substitute to 0. Okay, I will directly write the equation. I will be getting s cube plus 4s square plus 4s plus 2 is equal to 0. So please check, follow the u by v rule and do the differentiation, and this will be your final equation. And s cube, you can use calculator to solve this. I will be getting it as s is equal to minus 2.839 followed with minus 0.58 plus or minus j 0.60. So these are the three roots that I will be getting after solving this equation. Now our role is to identify which one is a breakaway point. Okay, so total three conditions are here. Okay, in order to identify, see, by visualizing the graph itself you can tell that yes, there is a breakaway point. So the first step is, in case if you find adjacently placed pole, and if this is a part of root locus, then definitely there will be a breakaway point. Okay, and again second condition, if you in an S plane, if you find adjacently place 0, again there will be a breakaway point. Okay, and this must be a part of root locus. And the final statement, you may find, okay, 2 pole and 0. So this is root locus, no root locus, and this is root locus. See, the extreme end is a 0, and towards the left of the 0 it is a part of root locus, then definitely there exists a breakaway point. So total three condition. Okay, in examination you need to check these three condition, whether my given problem has any such similar condition. So if I check with my problem, in step 2 I have drawn this. If you see, I can see that I have no such conditions. See, there is no adjacent placed poles or zeros, but I have to the extreme I have 0, and whereas that particular region is no root locus region, definitely the given two, like all three are not valid. Okay, so this is one method where you can check whether it is a valid or not. One more method, by substituting this value, okay, this minus 2.839 in the particular equation. Here, if k is positive, then it is a valid. If k is negative, then we call it as an invalid. So we need to substitute minus 2.8 in this particular equation. Okay, s as minus 2.839. So if this k is positive, then substituted valid is a valid breakaway. Okay, valid break. Valid breakaway point. If it is negative, we consider it as an invalid. See, this particular identification is only for real root. Okay, how about for imaginary? We have 0.58 plus j 0.60. How to do this? Very simple. Again, what we need to do, we need to consider g of s, h of s at a point s is equal to 0.58, any one point, okay, minus 0.58, j 0.6. Here we need to identify, so we need to substitute s value. So let me consider the equation given problem that has k into s plus 2. So here s we need to substitute as minus 0.58 j 0.6 followed with s into s square plus 2s plus 2. Students, I will not do the complete step. This is just for your information. Okay, here we need to substitute s value as 0.58 plus j 0.6, and later we need to write in the form of x plus iy form, and you need to calculate the angle. Okay, we need to obtain angle for this. So what is the formula to calculate angle? That is tan inverse of imaginary by real. Once you do that, if the angle, the total angle, if it is 180 degree or multiple of 180 degree, whether it is positive or negative, then we call it as a valid breakaway point. See, once if you come to know that in the given problem there is no breakaway point, then need not to proceed to this particular step. See, by checking with these three only, it is more than enough. You can tell that whether it is a valid breakaway point or not. See, these three cases is not with our problem. We don't have any adjacent poles or adjacent zero. We have an extreme zero, but towards the left it is not a part of root locus. So we can conclude that none of them as a valid breakaway point. So that is all about our step 5. Step 6. Okay. Step 6, in order to find the intersection with negative, or intersection with, let me write, imaginary axis. Okay, so again we need to consider the characteristic equation. So in previous step itself we have identified that. Let me consider s cube plus 2s square followed with k plus 2 multiplied by s plus 2k, that is equal to 0. See, with this data we need to form a root array, and we need to identify is there any intersection or not. So the root array will be s cube, s square, s1, s raised to 0, and if let me fill the odd position, that is 1, followed with k plus 2 as a constant, and even position, that is 2 and 2k. Okay, so in order to fill this value we need to cross multiply 2 into k plus 2 minus 1 into 2k. Okay, and identify this particular value. So that b value will be 2 multiplied by k plus 2, okay, minus 2k divided by 2. Okay, I will be getting it as 2k plus 4. So 2k get cancelled. 4 by 2 is 2. Okay, I don't have any further term, so I can take it as 0, and followed with 2k. See, here we can notice that we are not having, see, in other problems and all, we used to get in order to find the range of value. Okay, so here we are straight away getting the constant as 2k, and we can code this as k marginal does not exist, there is no intersection of root locus with imaginary axis. So in some cases we used to get in the form, let me tell you, in 20 minus 4k by 5. So what we are doing, we are substituting this particular value to the 0, then we used to find the k marginal, and this k marginal was considered as an, like in the previous it will be considered as an auxiliary equation, and we used to identify the value of s. okay, the intersection. So here we are not having any such form, so we can conclude that there is no intersection of root locus with imaginary axis. That will be our conclusion. And step number 7, so step number 7, so is about angle of departure, angle of departure at complex pole. Students, you should understand, in case if we have complex 0, that will be angle of arrival. So we have complex pole, okay, in the denominator we have, so that we call it as angle of departure, and we have a formula for that. So that is, let me write down, the departure will be 180 degree minus, so angle of departure formula is given in this form, and again this particular value can be identified with summation of angle made by poles minus summation of angle made by zeros. Okay, so we have, so let us draw the construction. I will try to mark the same. We have one pole at 0 and one 0 at -2 and one pole at -1 plus j and one more pole at -1 minus j. So we need to draw a construct. So let me say I am calculating the departure at this particular point. Okay, so if you are calculating here, so the departure will be represented by, okay, departure 1. Okay, so let me draw the construction line from the remaining pole and 0. So this will be the construction line. Okay, now we need to identify, so this is a pole, the first angle, that is angle made by pole 1 and angle made by pole 2, see, all in the same direction, and angle made by 0 1. Okay, so you can use trigonometric function in order to identify the particular angle. So if I want to get the angle of this particular, so let me consider this as 0, okay, and this particular value as 2 minus 2, and here we know that this particular is -1. Okay, the distance from here to here, it is 1, and again this particular distance will be 1. Okay, so it is easy for us to calculate the angle. That if I consider this as theta, if I substitute tan theta will be opposite, okay, 1 by adjacent 1, and theta is equal to tan inverse of 1. So what is tan inverse of 1? Anyone? So 45. Okay, thank you. So tan inverse of 1 is 45 degree. So if I want to calculate this particular angle, pole made by, see, 180 minus 45, so this particular angle will be 135. And see, this psi p2 will be directly, you can calculate, it will be 90 degree. See, if you are marking this particular graph in if you are marking this particular plot in graph sheet, then directly you can use protractor and measure that. Okay, it will be a lot more similar, and again you can apply the same method and you can calculate the angle made by z1. So let me write, so here I will write angle made by pole 1, that is equal to 180 degree minus 45, I will get it as 135, and I know angle made by pole 2 as 90 degree, and angle made by 0 1, it will be 45 degree. Okay, and finally if I substitute here, so what is the formula? So if I substitute 180, 135 plus 90 minus 45. 135 plus 90 minus 45. I will get the angle it as 180 degree. And if I substitute here, the departure angle will be 0 degree at where I calculated at this position, that is minus 1 plus j. Similarly, departure 2 will be 0 degree at minus 1 minus j. Okay, there is no departure. Okay, it will be 0 degree. By using all these data, let us draw the plot. So first I will draw the imaginary axis. Okay, let me represent this as imaginary axis, and let us have a real axis. Okay, I will represent that one also, real axis, and we have pole at origin 0 and one more 0 at minus 2, and these are the two particular pole. Okay, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, yes, here. Okay, this particular pole is minus 1 plus j, and this is minus 1 minus j. So this is done, and for us, let us start. Centroid is 0, what we obtained centroid as 0. Angle of asymptotes, theta 1, that is 90 degree, theta 2 180 degree. Okay, so from here we need to draw that angle of asymptotes. So let me take a different color. Okay, I will see 0. From 0 I will be drawing. So this is the first angle. These are guidelines. Okay, one is at 90 degree. Okay, that is theta 1, and one more is at 180 degree, that is, okay, so let me check whether it is 180 degree. I am getting it as 270. So let me rewrite theta 2. If I substitute here as 1, that is 2 plus 1, that is 3. 180 into 3 divided by 2, that will give it as 270 degree. So let me change that. Okay, so this particular will be theta 2, that is 270 degree. So that with respect to centroid, I have marked the guidelines. That is done. And remember, always the pole, okay, pole will be the start position for a branch, and 0 will be the terminating position. So start means I need to mark the same. Let me take, so from here it will start. Okay, and there is no breakaway. It is very much clear. And it will, what will happen, this particular pole will directly move to this particular 0 and it will terminate. Okay, and again, so we have two more poles here. This is the starting position, and we know that. So if I mark, take a thin line. So I will mark this guidelines in order to make the departure. See, we don't have any intersection with the negative imaginary axis, and the departure will be 0 degree. Okay, and it will tends to infinity. Okay, two branches will tends to infinity. So if I want to mark, so 0 degree, and how it will tends, and guidelines here. So it will move 0 degree in this way to certain extent. Okay, so this is the angle of departure from -1 plus j, and what will happen, it has to move towards infinity. Okay, infinity position. Similar way here, it will not intersect the imaginary axis, so this will tends to infinity. Okay, what is the departure? Departure has been clearly known. Departure 1 is 0 degree, as well as departure 2 is also 0 degree, and one pole will intersect here. Okay, so it's been done. We have drawn the complete root locus with a given data. So the centroid is 0 and there is no valid breakaway point, and departure is 0 and there is no intersection with the real axis. So this will be our root locus. Is there any doubt here? Okay, let me stop my session here.